Good day, and thank you for this opportunity for me to share with you topics on PIR or Program Implementation Review and CI or Continuous Improvement. Now, I understand that in a little while, uh, some of you will be presenting their programs, their projects, their activities which have to be subjected to a review. Of course, with us today is your very own school head, the master teachers, the project coordinators, no, the different project coordinators who will be presenting no, their projects one by one in a little while. Now, I would like to take this opportunity now to congratulate your school, your team for coming up with this kind of activity, which is review of different programs, projects, and activities because this is really very important now as a school, as an institution to regularly review your programs, projects, and activities because it is necessary for us to determine no, the progress, no, the concerns, issues, gaps, no, and problems as we implement our school programs, projects, and activities. Now, here is my slide. PIR and CI in schools operation. That is the title. Now, program implementation review. Let's take a look on this first. Now, the basic concepts. Now, as to the term program, program is a component of a big plan. Now, there's no such thing as program without having first a plan. No? So, as far as plan is concerned, I am referring to the school improvement plan and annual implementation plan no, of your school. As a program, it is composed of project. Now, a prerequisite of a program, it should have at least two projects. Now, in absence of project, okay, it should not be called program. It should be a project. A project is composed of activities. So a single project is composed of two or more activities. In absence of um, a two or more activities, it cannot be called project. No? It cannot be called project. It is an activity, actually. No? So an activity is composed of different tasks, and everybody knows that these are the action verbs. These are the action words. No? If we talk about activity, usually these are action words. Now, for example of PPAs or program project activities is shown below. For example, as to plan, we can consider food security, no? A plan for a food security. And then as to program, one of the component no, of a big plan, we can say Gulayan sa Paaralan as a program. And then as to activity, or I mean project, okay, we can say vertical gardening. We can say traditional gardening, no? Because vertical and traditional gardening belongs to two different aspect of gulayan sa paaralan, for example. And then we have here cultivating, planting, watering, harvesting. So basically, these are the activities. These are the action words or the action verbs that we should sometimes refer uh, as. Now, as to I, no, it is implementation. So I is implementation. Now, as to implementation, it talks about the action side of the programs or the plan, program, and activity. Okay. And it is also considered as the countdown of our objectives or targets. So we, during the planning, during the programming, during the formulation of projects, we set targets. We set doable targets. Now, as we implement all these PPAs, now we could start counting the days, the time, the months, okay, the weeks, okay, where we are actually looking at the time or the completion time of a particular activity. Okay, so we can also talk about implementation in terms of progress monitoring. Progress monitoring. So once a particular project or activity has been implemented, of course, there shall be or it should be coupled with monitoring the progress. And monitoring progress also serves as corrective and preventive measures, no? Corrective and preventive actions. Now let's talk about the R. The R here is the term review. Now review is actually it's an M&E function. No? This function is generic across governance level. So when we speak about governance level, we are referring here um, uh, the level at the classrooms, the level at the uh, s- principal, at the principal's level, or at the school level, at the level of the division office, at the level of the regional office, at the level of the central office. Okay? So, yan yung tinatawag na governance levels natin, no? Sa Department of Education. Now, R or view also refers to the primary focus, no, to look at, no, in terms of PPA or program, project, and activity, and target status. Now, target status can also be looked into various concerns, letter C, various issues, letter I, gaps, letter G, problems, letter P, or CIGP. Now, it also refers to a formal venue, okay, on the conduct of review. So actually today, what we are actually doing, your school is doing right now, is the R now of the term PIR or the review. Now, I would like to bring you, a quick tour with a quick tour on this uh, illustration. Now, as you can see, now, at the very right portion of this slide, colored yellow, you can read there SMEA team or SMEA team. Uh, that acronym refers to S school, M monitoring, E evaluation, A adjustments. So it is a school monitoring and evaluation adjust, adjustment or school monitoring, evaluation, and adjustment. Okay, at the division level, we have also that. No, we call it DMEA or Division Monitoring, Evaluation, and Adjustment uh, team, and even at the regional level and central uh, level. So this PIR is actually um, one of the basic functions of, of, of the Department of Education across uh, governance level, no, as I told you. And then you can see there the black arrow, and it reads, the next box reads, gather, analyze data. Okay, so the SMEA, the School Monitoring and Evaluation Team, gather data. And gathering of data are, 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 are being conducted or being performed by the respective project owners or project coordinators. Okay, the next box, no, is present, analyze on performance, okay, issues, okay, on planned actions. Okay, there is analysis, no? There is analysis of data actually. And then the next arrow pointing on the next box, do plan. Okay, so in planning, there are programs, there are projects, there are activities. And of course, in planning involves adjustment of plan, no, in a particular time duration. Now, as far as our experiences, is concerned in plan adjustment, we usually do the plan adjustment after midterm, no? After 6 months. After 6 months, we will uh, be scheduling, no, a plan adjustment session. Now, the next box is provide feedback on decision, needed, okay, decisions and issues to the next higher level. Okay. So it's about feedback mechanism. And then the higher level officials will conduct technical assistance, to the concerns, to the issues, to the problems, to the gaps. Okay, so that completes the cycle. And that cycle is actually the PIR cycle. Now, process of the school PIR. Okay, as you can see there, it starts with data, no, at the left portion of this table. You can see gather and analyze data. So truly, PIR or Program Implementation Review is a data-driven activity. And then the next box is present, analyze, no, the performance issues and planned action. Okay, so this is actually at the principal's level. No, uh, when it comes to uh, the school, now this particular part is at the principal or school level activity, and then do action adjustment. So whatever results or findings that you might be having today after your presentation, when you speak about your programs, projects, no, activities, your targets, your accomplishments, no, you can actually see your overshooting and the undershooting of your targets. No, you can actually see that, no, as you present your um, uh, PPAs, and that's it. No, feedback, and of course, the meat here is adjustment of your programs, projects, and activities. Now, I have here a form or a worksheet, no, for you to see how data or the PIR process basically driven about. Okay, at the very left portion of this table, you can see KPI or key performance indicators. Okay? So ano ba ang mga key performance indicators natin as to academics, as to non-academics, okay? Or programs and projects, no? To be specific. And then what is the status? Now, the second column, let's talk about the status. Okay, completed, not yet completed, or ongoing implementation, or not yet implemented. Okay, and then the third column is the CIGPS. CIGPS refers to what? Yes, it refers to gaps, issues, okay, concerns, problems, no, that you as a project owner or owners are encountering with, no, currently. Okay, so dapat na-identify yan. And then, eventually, the output would be, or the terminal output would be proposed adjustment. Adjustment in terms of activities, no, project adjustment, of course, for your school to cope up with the overall target. Remember, at this point in time, you might just be talking about your quarter status, your target, second quarter target, third quarter target, and then the fourth quarter target, or the final quarter targets. So at this point in time, you might just be talking about a specific quarter targets. Okay. Now, in summary, no, I already presented this slide to you, no, a while ago. So in summary, what you are doing now in your school, you are actually doing a PIR, or the Program Implementation Review. Okay, so you have your team, or the SMEA, or the SMEA team. You have your data, you work on data, you work on specific programs, projects, and activities, you work on various targets, accomplishments, okay, and you think about what possible remedy, no, that we could still employ, no, for us to be updated with our targets. Remember, we have the overall target and we have the partial or the meantime targets. So we still have time to go about really completing the totality of the project as implemented. Of course, it's a matter of prevention, it's a matter of correction. Okay, so we still have time to readjust, to redirect our programs, projects, and activities. Okay, so later on, I will be welcoming questions now from you. Okay, that ends up program implementation review. Now let's go to continuous improvement, or CI. Now, eventually, at the end of this presentation, we will try to assess, we will try to have some kind of a comparative analysis between um, PIR and CI, and how it is applied to a particular school operation, no? So ano ang naging role ng CI at PIR sa school operation, at saan ito tumutugon or tumutukoy, at what particular area of school operations CI and PIR actually work. Now, as to CI, or continuous improvement, yes, CI is about process. It's about processes. Now, as our school operates, it includes different process, because it includes different programs, projects, and activities. So when we speak about different activities, different projects, of course, we cannot avoid to think about processes. We cannot avoid to think about standards. We cannot avoid to talk about guidelines, procedures. Okay? So, in CI po, there are two focuses. The first focus is the old process, and the second is the new process. Now, very evident, no, in this time of pandemic, that school processes actually um, there is actually a dramatic change, no, in our school processes. I just would like to give you an example of this. For example, enrollment process. So definitely our enrollment process as of now, no, during pandemic, it's not the one we did during the traditional days, no, school days. um, ang ating enrollment ay online na ngayon. Tama? We use the technology for enrollment. We avoid um, constant physical contact. So we advocate physical distancing, right? So there was a drastic change. For example, in the classroom, uh, in the classroom activity or teaching learning activities, okay, so definitely it's a total 360-degree different. No, we are now modular. So that is basically a change of our school process or processes, and that is the concern of CI. No, or continuous improvement means continuous improvement of school processes. Now, there are three A's in CI. Okay? There are three A's in CI. The first A is assess. Now, it's about assessment. It's about assessing. It's about knowing. Okay? It's about understanding. No? It's about data-driven assessment. So assessment has to be organized. Okay? Uh, it has something to do with talking with people who are involved in the process, like teachers, like students, like the master teachers. So it is very important to have a discussion with them when it comes to various concerns, issues, gaps, and problems, no, that we are actually facing right now. So there is always a reason for us to talk about all of this, especially during this pandemic time. So the more you talk, the more you gather information, okay, and that is an opportunity. That is assessment. The next A is analyze. Now, analysis is the highest level of human thinking. No, um, when we start to ask questions like why, how, okay, why, how, we are actually at the HATS level or the higher order thinking skills um, level. Okay, so when we start um, doing the what, the how and why, we are actually doing a root cause analysis. Okay, we are not satisfied with what we already see superficially, but we try to look at its uh, root causes. Okay, the third A is about is about act. Now we have the data, we assess the data, and then we look into the root causes of the problems. And now we had the opportunity of creating different interventions, solutions, no, uh, to to answer those problems, and our solutions, of course, in the form of programs, projects, and activities. Now, basically, so we act on that. We implement. No, acting is about implementing or doing something. No, uh, uh, to accommodate, no, those problems identified. So this is also the action side of our plan. Okay, it is also right now to pilot our solution. No, it is not bad to dry run our solution, to pilot test our solution. It is also good to do it, and eventually it is also an opportunity for us to walk on or to roll out the proposed solution or the solution, whether this solution is really the one we are needing with, or the one, what I mean is there other best options that we could also use, no, as an alternative solution if the first solution doesn't work? Okay, something like that. And check the progress, of course, happens here during the action or during the act steps. This is the implementation step. So this is also where uh, the school has to check the progress, especially those who are assigned in a particular project, or project coordinators, or the project owners, as we should say also. Okay, here is now um, the illustration for us to see the roles of CI and the roles of PIR as far as school operation is concerned. What I am saying is that at what particular area of school operation PIR works, and what particular area of school operations CI works. Now, as you can see at the very middle now of the illustration, the yellow circle, it is written there, learners' needs. Of course, the school operates because of this. This is the real reason why we are here in the Department of Education. It is because of our learners. No? The needs of our learners dictates our programs, projects, and activities. Okay, the needs of our learners dictates what is or are the best solutions, no, for us to address these needs or learners' needs. Now, at the very left um, portion of our illustration, we have there assess. Okay, so assess is one of the components of what? Yes, of CI. CI has a component of assess, as we discussed, no, a while ago. So assessment, there is an output there. No, after the assess phase or the assessment phase, you can actually come up with priority improvement areas. No, so what are the priorities with all uh, the needs, you know, um, um, discovered, found out during assessment? What are the priorities? Of course, the Department of Education can only think of all this, no, but of course we are limited as to resources, no, as to people, as to everything. So um, wala namang um, perfect um, solution, no? But we need to prioritize. Now, at the top portion, you can see there, analyze. Analyze is the second A of CI. And then at the right portion, you can see act. Now, in act, that is also the output there is your AIP, or your annual implementation plan, and your programs, projects, and activities, which are basically part of your annual implementation plan. You cannot create your AIP without identifying the PPAs. So, kambal po yan eh. Ano po? And then that completes, no, the CI portion, the CI component of your school operation. Okay, so again, our school operation is centered on learners' need. Okay, now here you can see the red circle, and it is written there PIR. That is now Program Implementation Review. Now, as you can see, it is only connected to the act component of CI. Okay, because the act component refers to the annual implementation plan or the plan, and it refers to the different programs, projects, and activities that are inclusive, that are within uh, a specific annual implementation plan, no, of your school, of course. So these different programs, projects, and activities are the ones, no, being reviewed, are the ones being reviewed. So today you are doing a PIR. So basically, what the process is looking at right now, okay, are your programs, are your projects, are your activities, no, as to targets, as to accomplishment. Okay, again, as to actual targets, as to actual accomplishments, or in other words, status, no, of your PPAs. Okay, so what is the beauty about doing PIR at this very moment? Okay, what is the beauty of that? Yes, the beauty of PIR is about um, looking into the status of your programs, projects, and activities implemented, and try to think, okay, of of possible strategies, okay, whenever there are gray areas or red flags, okay, red flags or gray areas that the process finding uh, will be finding, no, will be having, no, at this moment, no, what are the issues, what are the gaps, what are the problems, no, as far as the implementations of programs, projects, and activities. Natural, nakikita yan, no, these are all visible, these are all visible. Now, since the implementation of a particular programs, projects, no, is usually now at our setup now in the Department of Education, it usually it usually runs in a year, within a year. So since the school year is not yet over, is not yet over, we can actually use the result of this PIR, of this review, as our springboard, as our basis, now to continuously improve, to continuously improve, and then when we improve, okay, when we improve our process, our implementation processes, then there can be a big, okay, possibility for the school, no, to achieve uh, its goal, no, the terminal goal, the ultimate goal of the school. So what I mean is that we still have time to work on these issues, concerns, and problems, so that at the end of the school year everything will be okay as expected. Now, another important topic as far as CI or continuous improvement is to document your project. To document your project. Actually, I am addressing this portion, no, of my slides to all the project owners, okay, all the teachers that are um, holding a specific project, for example, reading project, for example, feeding project, okay, gardening project, academic project, and all projects now you have in the school. You must have uh, your way also of reporting your CI project. Okay, you need to document, you need to report your project. Okay, moving on. This is how are you going to document your projects. Okay, documenting continuous improvement project. Okay, there is a reminder there. All CI project owners or focal persons are encouraged to document the implementation or implemented project using the prescribed format. Okay, CI project is considered qualified if it is implemented in school for more than a year and reflected in the school annual implementation plan. So, ang isang characteristic ng isang CI project ay dapat continuously implemented, no, year after year. Now, as part of your documentation, take note, project coordinators or project owners, you state your background. Now, what is good about this um, guide, no, that I am sharing with you is actually there are already instructions, no, that are embedded, no, per category. For example, as far as background is concerned, all you need to do is follow instruction below. For example, here, briefly discuss the following. State the broad problem that this project is addressing. Who are the beneficiary of this project? Are the expected outputs of this project? What are the needed inputs? Remember, you cannot come up with output if you don't have input. If you have bad input, you can definitely have bad output, something like that. So just discuss, just present. Current state. Okay, so you write the current state, the present state of your CI project, and please be true, no, to what you have written. Magpakatotoo lang tayo, or else para lang nating niloloko ang ating mga sarili. How can we improve something if it is not real? It is not real. Briefly discuss the following. What are the concerns, issues, gaps, or problems raised? What are your observations in the current process? What I mean is that um, um, the current process that you are using right now as you implement your project, is there any need uh, for you to change, to improve the process? So just present, not just present. What are the data or data sources which you use that help you describe the current status of the CI project? So, saan nanggagaling ang mga data mo? Where are your data coming from? Now, the next category is problem analysis. Okay? So, schools have a lot of problems, issues, concerns. Okay? Explicitly discuss the following. What is the problem all about? Who, where, when? What are its root causes? Okay? How did you validate the root causes? Just present and discuss. The next one, future state. Now, if you have your current process now, since um, we are in the pandemic situation, definitely there shall be, no, a significant change in your process, in your procedure. As you implement your, for example, your reading program, you implement your reading program before, is definitely a different steps to follow when you implement your reading program today during pandemic. So there's a change in your process. That is what we are trying to drive out here. Now, as far as CI is concerned, the old process and the new process. Implementation plan. Now you have all the 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 the, the activities, no, very clear to you already, specific activities, and now you are going to plot them now in this form as as your, maybe we call it your action plan, an improved version, a contextualized version of your action plan or implementation plan. Okay, at the left side, activity, task, timeline, when it will be implemented, budget needed, zero budget ba yan or with budget, who are the people involved, monitoring and evaluation scheme, meron ka bang checklist or Meron ka bang anecdotal record na gagamitin? What are the possible risks? No? What are the factors that you might be encountering as you implement your activities? So, yan yon. No? Um, just present. Now, the result. Explicitly discuss the following. Okay. Ano ang naging resulta so far? Um, pag sinabing result, it is actually a report already. A report already. Kasi the activity has been implemented or the project has been implemented. So now we're looking at the results. No? What are the findings actually, the positive and negative results? Dapat may kwento mo dyan. So your observation of findings, what are the benefits of the projects, who benefited the project, something like that. So dapat nakwento mo yan as your results. Dapat ipagmalaki mo, you must be proud of your project, that your project achieved this kind of benefits. Okay, it provided um, benefits to your target clienteles or to your students. So, pag malaki mo yan, maging yung mga problems na na-encounter, ipagmalaki mo din. Kasi that is the only way you can also improve. Now, if you acknowledge your failure, then it is easier for you to think of remedy, to think of solution, no? To think of solution. Then G, lessons learned. Yan. Ano ang mga natutunan? Ano ang mga natutunan? Okay? Ano ang mga values learned? No? Kwento lang siya. Just tell the story. And then, prepared by, of course, you as the project owner. And then, damay mo na dyan ang yung SBM coordinator because everything is under the umbrella of the school-based management. And then, of course, your school head should also um, have a copy of that. And of course, have also the hand, no? And everything about uh, your own project. Remember, CI is a school project. Okay, thank you. So that ends up my slide, no, about program implementation review and about continuous improvement um, program or continuous improvement CI. Okay, so now is the time for you to ask whatever questions related to this topic. You may raise that now. Okay, thank you.